Of high interest to Americans because we all drive, an out-of-control Toyota Prius. Here's the story. Jim Sykes says he was cruising down a hilly freeway just outside of San Diego yesterday, tried to pass another car, and when he did, he says that the gas pedal just jumped, and it got stuck, and then his Prius just took off. Sykes says he tried to turn the car off, he hit the brakes, tried to pull the gas pedal. He said it went all the way up to 94 miles an hour. Here, take a listen.
I was just holding on the steering wheel with my left hand, and I was down at an angle trying to pull it back. I thought it was maybe just stuck. I mean, my mat was perfect. There was nothing wrong with my mat, and the pedal, it wouldn't do anything. It stayed right where it was.
Yeah, he goes on to say that he could actually smell the brakes. He was hitting it so hard. And then he called 911. Highway Patrol pulled up. Have we got some pictures here? Yeah, Highway Patrol pulled up. They got on the horn. They told him to hit the brakes. He put on the emergency brakes. And as it was going uphill, it finally started to slow down. When the car finally slowed to 50 miles an hour, the trooper was able to get in front of him and kind of pressure him into stopping. That's how the story goes. Grant Bevel has a master's and a PhD in mechanical engineering. He knows this kind of stuff. Specializes in biomechanics, computer engineering, what causes car accidents. All right, sounds to me like you're the perfect guy to talk to. I'm confused about this whole thing. First of all, in this particular case, the story itself, let's start there, and then I want to ask you about this whole problem with Toyota. Because as an American, I want to know, and as a dad who might have kids driving, I want to know. Let's start with this accident. Does this thing add up to you? Does it make sense, or is there something fishy about this guy's story?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Nothing sounds too fishy about this accident, but it does sound like there are multiple factors that contributed to it. And
why didn't he just turn off the ignition? That would have been easy. Shouldn't that do it? And if not, why not hit the emergency brake?
Yeah, it sounds like he tried to turn off the ignition and it didn't work when the vehicle had reached a sufficient speed. The first thing I would recommend that somebody would do if they're in that type of situation is try to get the vehicle into neutral. Certainly brakes typically have the power to override a car that has a runaway acceleration problem, but that's not always the case if the operator applies the brakes lightly or if there's some other malfunction with the vehicle.
All right, tell me, as a person who would never be able to understand the way a car is engineered, how it's possible that you can press the accelerator and it can actually either get stuck or continue to go up by itself and go faster than even you're pressing it. How is that possible?
Well, the car involved in this incident is fairly complex. We have a hybrid vehicle that has a fly-by-wire acceleration, and there could have been a failure at multiple points or any point. Somebody would have to inspect it to see what happened. Certainly it could be a mechanical binding in the accelerator, or it could be a software glitch downstream from that accelerator prior to the throttle.
So as a guy who knows this kind of stuff, you're a mechanical engineer, you buy into the argument that it's possible for these things to be happening as they are, and you can reason mechanically how it can happen.
Well, your question brings up a good point. I do believe that this is a real problem, but it also has a pretty low frequency rate in the Toyota vehicle fleet. Certainly something that's difficult to prove is that there can be a component at times of operator error. Doesn't sound like that was the instance in this particular incident, but it is a possibility.
You think this is going to be something that Toyota can get a handle on, or is it going to be difficult to do so? And I guess, you know, the obvious question is, why haven't they been able to do it yet?
Well, I think it is something that they'll be able to eventually work out, but I think the complicating factor here is that they have so many problems that they're facing between floor mats, mechanical binding of accelerators, and software glitches that sometimes it's difficult to resolve which factor is actually contributing to a particular incident and to resolve that in the entire fleet.
A real honest-to-goodness mechanical engineer who's an expert on some of the things that many of us as Americans don't understand, especially how a car is put together and how the acceleration actually works. My thanks to you for taking time for joining us on this.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Take a look at this.